everyone, this is your host Tulika and I welcome you yet another episode of TGIS Toastcast. So today we have a guest who is very dynamic in nature. What makes him special is about his experience in different areas and his knowledge. He is a Toastmaster since 2014. He was a Vice President membership for Burj Club in 2015. In 2017, he was a District Assistant Program Quality Director. In 2018, he was a District Assistant Club Growth Director. In 2019, he was a District Toastmasters Leadership Institute, which actually not just showed his leadership skills, but also his interest in training and education. In 2020, he was the area director for area number 20. And guys, he was also a co-founder of a podcasters club in 2021, and he was also the president for that particular club. As I mentioned you earlier, that what makes him special is his diverse experience in different fields, starting from construction industry to procurement to education sector. He was the author for the Awesome Cup, and also he was a host for his own talk show, which was named as Awesome Walker. And after doing all these things, he decided to transform others' life and become a transformative coach. He's fondly known as Mr. Awesome to Toastmaster community, and today we are going to have a conversation with the conversationist himself. So please help me welcoming Mr. Awesome of TGIS Toastmasters, Samir Geepee. How are you doing today, Samir?
Wonderful, Tulika. Thank you so much for having me over here.
Thank you so much. It's absolutely my pleasure to actually interview you today. So Samir, as I mentioned you that you are fondly known as Mr. Awesome in Toastmasters. So what is the background about it? How you got this name?
When I started my Toastmaster journey, and I had just joined the club to make friends. I had not joined with any other ulterior motive or anything. I had moved to Dubai after a long stint in China, and I did not know anyone over here. So Toastmasters was just something that I did to discover new friends in a new town.
Okay.
And after I landed over here, and after I joined Toastmasters and things were going great, I realized I have this quality of being a speaker, being a trainer, being a coach. And then I started the journey. When I was having that experience, I started having deep conversation. I realized if others could hear these conversations, it would be wonderful. Just like what you're doing right now. This conversation could have been at home, but we're doing it because so much of value somebody else could take out of what we are having over here.
Very true.
A deep, meaningful conversation we're having, right? So when I started Awesome Walkers, which was about, it's just a name that struck me, and I said, awesome walkers are the ones who walk their talk. Let me interview people who have walked their talk. And I think that just stuck. Awesome from Awesome Walkers, and then I wrote a book called Awesome Cup. I wrote an Awesome Planner. So because of the products that I created, and the title just stuck, Mr. Awesome, I think. It's just that.
And I think you are awesome too. I think that's also
You've been
one
generous.
of the.
Thank you.
So Samir, I remember very vividly the first time I met you actually. And it was the time I was delivering my ice-breaking speech, and we did have some interaction over there. And while having the interaction, I got to know that you are also a coach, and that's really made me curious. But what exactly I wanted to ask you here, I still have the picture by the way, because you were the one who actually gave me my icebreaker badge. And you actually mentioned that from a coach to a coach, so I will never forget that. Thank you so much for doing that. But what I want to ask you today, since then, that date till today, I have seen a transformative journey within you also in terms of fitness. Tell us something about that.
A transformation journey of my fitness, I think I have never focused on my fitness for a long time. And the last 1 year has been a journey of me designing and creating a product which I call the Clarity Game. And the more I started diving into the world of clarity, the more clarity started opening up for myself as well. And I recognize my transformation is very closely linked to my health, very closely related to how I operate, and therefore I started prioritizing it. And once I did that, I started seeing results. And when I started seeing results, I started doing more of it. So that's what happened.
Yeah. So, do you have any suggestions or any advice for anyone who is actually going for their transformation journey in terms of fitness?
So, in the game,
Okay.
and in the world of clarity, what I always say is don't give people advice.
Oh.
So I don't give advices to people.
Any insight you wanted to share?
I can share an insight. I can share what worked for me, and I think what really worked for me is discovering my why, discovering why I want to be healthy, and going deeper into understanding that if I have to change, I need to have a deep resonating why that really kicks me out of the bed and gets me moving, and that why can shift perhaps. I can tell you the story of how this whole fitness journey started as well.
Please do that. Yeah.
There are two incidents that happened. One was I was pre-diabetic and I wanted to get rid of the pre-diabetes, and then there was another thing that coincided was two of my other friends. So they came together and the three of us, we said, let's set up a challenge. In the next 3 months, whoever loses 10 kgs gets 5,000 dirham from the other two.
Wow, that's actually a
so that was a huge motivation not to lose money, right? It's not about getting the money. It was like, I don't want to lose 5,000.
Exactly.
So
better to lose the weight.
So that was my why at that point of time. My why was I don't want to lose 5,000. So when you keep something that is that pushes you, and you have to discover what is that for you. Sometimes it is money, sometimes it is some other motivation, sometimes it is getting money, sometimes it is losing money, sometimes it is taking care of your family, sometimes it is reversing your diabetes, sometimes it is it can be anything for each person. So they have to choose and identify what is it that will get them out of bed. And I remember sometimes, so I used to run every single day 5k in the morning, 5k in the evening. I would not go to bed without at least running 1 5k a day.
Wow.
There are times where I came back home at 11, 12 and I would still go for the run. And I was so committed to
motivated
not losing my 5,000 as well. Yeah.
Interesting, Samir. I do feel that knowing your why is very important, and that gives you the motivation. And that's why I wanted to ask audience also, if you want to do something, please ask your question that why it is so important for you. And that will definitely give you some kind of pathway to go through it. Thank you so much, Samir, for sharing that. We keep coming back to your clarity game. So I'm really curious to know about it. I've heard a lot about it. So can you please tell us something about your clarity game?
The clarity game is an intervention tool. It's been a product in progress for the last 1 year. And ultimately it has become a tool where it helps people become better leaders, discover their own clarity, and live life more intentionally, create behavior change, collaborate in an organization. It's a one-of-a-kind tool right now that exists in the world. There's nothing that comes close to this or that is exactly like this in the world. So I'm very happy with what the outcome is so far, because I've shown it to our people who are business consultants in large organizations like McKinsey and other places, and they've all said we have seen so many tools across the world. So what is the tool? It's a tool where 4 people come together and they play the game for their own clarity.
So it has to have 4 people, right?
At least 4. So as a result of these 4 people coming together, they help each other and support each other in the journey of clarity.
So it is mostly around the clarity of so I heard you actually saying about leadership. So is it only for the leaders, or anyone who is looking for a clarity in their life also can do this?
Anyone can play. Everyone is a leader, right? If you want to lead your family, you want to lead your children, you want to lead your community, you don't have to be a leader. But why I use the term leader is because, so there are managers and leaders, right? And the principal distinction between these two are managers are people who are focused on process, leaders are people who are focused on people. So process and people. You want to be more effective in leading people or managing people or taking care of the people around you, then you're a leader. And why is that so important is because how you communicate to them makes a difference.
Exactly.
And what the game does is it creates a framework for you to have better conversations with people around you. And once you do that, then what happens is you create a safe space, you allow them to explore, you allow them to understand. In a nutshell, in 2 words, if I had to describe the game, I would say it's coaching gamified.
Coaching gamified. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Does it also give you some insights while you're doing it, or?
Absolutely.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Good, good. So, Samir, how many, I mean, you're saying that this is still in progress and you are doing it since last 1 year and all. So, what kind of results you have seen it? You also mentioned about the results. So, what kind of results you have seen it, and if something you wanted to share with our audience today?
So with respect to the game, when anyone plays the game, what happens is after 2-3 months, definitely they see, like you go through a coaching experience, what happens? You see results. This is the same. The only difference is when 4 people come together, the relationship and bond that they create becomes stronger as well. Players who have played this game together, what they say is, we have never had this level of deep conversations with our friends or colleagues or people, because the framework of the game allows you to unpack everything in a very structured manner.
And there is any timeline that you have to be actually doing that, or it is just about one game? How does it work?
So you play the game for, like, if you play the game 6 months, if you play, what happens is your relationship gets better, right? Just like going to the gym. You go to the gym once and you pick a dumbbell and work the whole day, you're not going to have muscles.
Exactly.
Right? So you work on it regularly, then what happens is that muscle gets better. Same with the game. The more you play it, the more your ability to ask better questions improves, the more your ability to hold back giving advice improves, the more your ability to listen deeply improves, the more your ability to collaborate with others improves. All of those are muscles that you exercise, and the more you exercise them, the more you get better at becoming an effective leader. You getting clarity for yourself is a side effect of the game. The whole purpose of the game is to give others clarity. So the 3 people who are in front of you playing, you become a person to contribute into their journeys. So imagine you playing the game for 4 hours, you're transforming the life of 3 other people in front of you.
Wow. And I'm now more curious to play the game, by the way. I also mentioned in my introduction that you are a Toastmaster since 2014, on and off, as you mentioned, mostly on. So what do you think, any one insight which you feel that has actually helped you in your journey towards a transformative coach?
So by 2015 to 2016, I was in a corporate role. 2016, I was at a turning point in my life and I was trying to figure out what do I do next. And at that point of time, I discovered the world of coaching. So 2014 to 16, I had exercised the muscle of having conversations, putting myself in public, and doing all these unintentionally, that I realized that I have the core skills that is required for me to become an effective coach and a speaker. So I say the definition of confidence is when you create more positive evidence in your life, you become more confident. So I became more confident to become a coach because knowingly or unknowingly, I had created that evidence from 2014 to 16 through Toastmasters.
Exactly.
And then I started leveraging on it and started doing more of it. And the more I did it, the more confident I became. So that's something that everybody can learn from that. If you are struggling with confidence, it's a result of you not having enough positive evidence in your life. The more evidence you create, the more confidence you will have. In Toastmasters, you see this a lot. I'm not confident enough to stand in public and give a speech.
Yeah, I remember having this conversation on our first day that you actually asked me that why you joined Toastmasters. So I still remember that conversation. You have mentioned that you are in Toastmasters since 2014. So what actually inspired you, or what actually happened so that you joined the Toastmasters?
I was living in China. Before I went to China, I was in Qatar for a couple of years. 2004 is when I heard about Toastmasters for the first time. I went to a Toastmaster meeting in Qatar. I was working at that point of time in Qatar. I was a much younger guy at that point. I walked into the room and everyone was seniors, much older, all in suits, and I was like, this is not my environment, this is not where I want to be. I stayed there, I think, for about 10-15 minutes, and then I left the room from the back and never returned to Toastmasters for a long time. I was in China and I was the president of the Guangzhou Indian Association over there, and we were looking at how we can support our members with different initiatives. And there was a friend of mine who had moved from Taiwan, and he had been part of Toastmasters over there. So we decided to create something like Toastmasters. We called it that time GIA Masters, I think. So we called it Some Masters. It was not a
Okay.
Toastmaster club. We did not
Okay.
affiliate to Toastmasters, and we started a club, and we were running public speaking programs over there. That was back in 2012.
Okay.
So
And
when
it was in China, right?
it was in China, and I didn't know if Toastmasters was there at that point of time in Guangzhou, so we did not look for Toastmaster affiliation or trying to set up a club. We didn't know how to do all those, and I was also not aware of the framework of Toastmasters. I was depending on this person who was from Taiwan,
Okay.
Ratan Punjabi. Shout out to you, man. So he's the one who initiated this whole thing, and so when I moved to Dubai, I started looking up for Toastmasters because
Okay.
I had some kind of a background and everything. And once I joined, then once you get out of Toastmasters, then you will never get out of Toastmasters, they say. Every time I take a pause, it's only to distance myself, to see a little bit more clearer what are the things that I'm doing at that point of time in my life, and to give a little bit more focus. So, and then I always say I'm not here to quit and say goodbye to Toastmasters ever in my life. I might take short breaks or long breaks. It's just to give me perspective and to focus on the things that I'm doing, but I'm always around for my fellow Toastmasters, and the community has given me so much that I would never think of quitting it ever.
Well, no, I remember when I joined Toastmasters, so what I heard someone was saying, once a Toastmasters, always a Toastmasters. I mean, you can't take your Toastmasters journey from your life exactly. But Samir, I'm really curious to know that what exactly has changed from 2004 to 2014, because 2004 you went and you didn't like it, and 2014, then what exactly has changed in between which actually make you go for Toastmasters?
2004 to 2014, I was a lost kid. I had no clarity. I was someone who was meandering through life and trying to figure myself and find my space. 2006 to 2014, when I was living in China, I thought I had found out what I want to do in life, be an entrepreneur, serve others, etc. 2014, I realized this is not what I want to do. This is not my calling, and I was okay with that. And I was okay with restarting from scratch everything and trying to figure out what next. And I know this scares a lot of people, especially when you have families and you have kids and you have responsibilities. It's a huge challenge. But for me, I always had to prioritize myself, because I said if I don't take care of myself, I can't take care of people around me. So I have to figure out what it is that I want to do. And you mentioned that I've been doing so many things and different things.
Right.
And I think that there is a method to that madness. There is a method to the madness, I say, because when you do different things, you recognize what is it that you want to do and what is it that you want to say no to.
In the process.
In the process, you will recognize what is it that you want to say no to. And saying no to things is so important, because then you know where to focus your time even more further.
Exactly.
And the more you are clear about what you want to focus your time on, the more your capacity to grow as a person. So between 2004 to 2014, what has happened is like you peel an onion and you take out layers. I was peeling myself constantly, right? I was constantly getting to know more and more of who I was, what is it that I want, who is it that I want to spend time with, and how is it that I want to grow. Why people say once a Toastmaster, always a Toastmaster is because I don't think there is any platform in the world or any organization in the world where you will see people in a room, everyone is there to grow themselves personally.
Wow, yeah,
Everybody is there, not with any other ulterior motive. If you go to a networking event, they want to grow their sales. If you want to go to any social club, they are there just to meet friends or to date or to do something. You don't see any of that. You could see someone who is a CEO and who is an entry level and who is also looking for a job, all sitting in the same room in a Toastmaster meeting and still getting value from each other, and nobody feeling I am one above the other.
Exactly.
So that's
and
why,
no judgment
there's
also
no judgment.
around. Yes.
Everybody is here to grow, and everybody
Exactly.
recognizes that we all have our own journeys and we all do it at our own pace, and that's fine. So
very, very true, and thank you so much for sharing that again with us. You also mentioned about the peeling of the onion, and I do feel that coaching is all about that. And you mentioned that during your Toastmaster journey in 2016 and 17, you realized this is what you really resonate with it and do and want to do it. But I mean, though you have a right of experience from construction, as I mentioned, from construction industry to how easy this transformation was for you in terms of being a coach of
So
transformation?
easy or difficult is in the head, right? It's a label that we give ourselves. It's just once you decide, and then you just start
So
taking
what
action.
made you decide, if I'll ask you that way?
What made me decide is, so in 2015-16, I was working with an organization in Qatar. I was a VP CEO for a hospitality company over there. They wanted to take the brand global. And in that 1 year, so from 2006 to 2014 and 2015, I was independent. I was on my own. I was not working for anyone.
Oh,
2015 to 16, I was working for somebody. And in that 1 year, I realized this is not for me. Working for somebody or running a hospitality company or selling correct chai, which is what the business was doing,
Okay.
was not my cup of tea. So it was me again saying, this is not what I want to do. When I went into a program, NLP with Vikram Daro in Bangalore, and I did the program, I remember on day 3 of the program, Vikram is at the front, he is doing the training, and everybody is sitting and listening to him. And I just stand up from my seat at the back, and I just look up into the sky and say, God, thank you. This is what I was born to do. Thank you for preparing me. Everything that happened in my life till now was you preparing me for this role. And I think everybody goes through that phase. You know, sometimes you're meandering through life, sometimes you're trying to figure out, sometimes you feel like you're lost or stuck or you don't know what you're doing. And recognizing it's okay. It's you being prepared for something better. If you're not feeling good right now, take that as a lesson and ask yourself, what about this is not good for me right now? Why am I not feeling fulfilled? What is it that I should change about what I'm doing right now? And then be brave. Courage, the definition of courage is to do things despite the fear. And you're asking what gave me the courage was to realize that I have to do it and there's no other way but to execute on it. Otherwise, I will be the one who lose out.
You'll not be happy of what you're doing.
Yeah, and I think very young when I was in college.
You're still young, Samir.
I mean, I'm still not in college, but but we are celebrating our 25-year college reunion this year actually.
Oh yeah, you
So when I was in
mentioned
college and 25 years ago when I was leaving, I was telling myself, I'm not going to do a job that I don't love. Any point of time, if I stop loving something, I'm going to move on. I'm going to quit. And I think that is something that I always stuck with. Even to this day, if I have a client that I'm not happy with, I stop the relationship. If I have a task that I'm doing which I don't want to continue doing, I stop it. If there's anything, and I don't want to suffer, life is too short for that, right? But if there is a growth opportunity, then I go through it. If there is, if I'm dying in the process of doing something, then it means it's a sign for me that probably somebody else should be doing it, not you.
Yeah, exactly right. And here I wanted to share actually that we do have a common in terms of mentor also. And as you mentioned, even I have experienced the same thing. I went for, I mean, NLP was my first ever program which I went for in terms of coaching and all. And it was mainly for myself. I mean, I wanted to understand that what exactly I wanted to do in my life and who am I. And the first day I remember I was lost. I didn't know that what I'm doing here. And after the second day and the third day, as you mentioned, as the program proceeded, I felt it, oh my God, this is something I wanted to do. And since then actually, and that is the reason I'm a coach. So I mean, I actually say that to Vikram also that because of you, I've started this new career. So yes, so I really wanted to share that, and I got to know that very late that we do have so many things in common. So good to know that. Samir, during the conversation, we talk about that you have traveled a lot in terms of because of your jobs and all, be it China, Qatar, or is there any other country you have traveled, and how that has shaped your personality and what perspective that has given you?
I remember the first speech, my icebreaker speech in Toastmasters.
Okay.
That I had delivered. The first speech that I had delivered where I was introducing myself, I came up with a formula.
Okay.
It's called I is equal to B plus E plus B.
Oh, about the icebreaker, okay.
In the icebreaker, so I is equal to B plus E plus B. I is every individual is equal to B, all the books you have read.
Okay.
So all the books means all the content. It could be videos, it could be movies, it could be any content that you're consuming, YouTube. So I put it as books. E is all the experiences you have had, and P is all the people you have met.
People are, okay, you have met.
So what happens is you are continuously evolving as a person based on these three metrics.
Okay.
So when I travel to places, I'm creating new experiences and I'm meeting new people, and they shape my thinking. And I'm very mindful about who I surround myself with and what kind of content I consume, because I know it creates a huge impact on who I am and who I become.
Right.
Right. So all the places that I've been to, like for example, after COVID, I had said goodbye to Dubai and said, Dubai, I am perhaps done with you. I gave away all my furniture, I gave away all my stuff. The only thing that I put into storage were my books. I gave all my books to a friend of mine. I said, keep this over here with you. In case I settle down somewhere, ship it there.
Oh.
All right. And then I started traveling, and I went to the UK, and I was traveling over there for a few months. And distancing myself from Dubai gave me the opportunity to realize that there's no place better in the world at this point of time than to come back to Dubai.
Exactly. Exactly.
And the reasons are many for me. One is the leadership, one is the social capital that I've built over here, the kind of people that I have, the environment that is here for growth. It's a very growth mindset country.
Okay.
And you know, the recent floods has shown us how they respond to crisis. You've seen how during COVID, Dubai responded to crisis. And you see so many other places in the world struggling. So it has shaped me. I think the city also has shaped me in so many ways. I think the leadership exemplifies what leadership really is for the entire world, you know, and it's helped me become a better coach as a result, I think.
Yeah. So if I'll say in the NLP language, actually traveling expands your map of mind.
Traveling expands your map of mind. I think what traveling, and I always recommend this to everyone to do, go for solo travel, because you start meeting yourself at a level that you don't otherwise.
Very, very deep.
So when you start, people think that you're going to run away from things. You're actually going into yourself, because you start meeting strangers, and in those meetings, when people ask you questions, you know, there's no judgment. You know, there's nothing that you say can make a difference to them, but it can make all the difference to you. So you start exploring and seeking, and I remember I was traveling through Scotland, and I did not know what was my journey going to be about. I said goodbye to Dubai and I left, right? I did not know I was going to come back. I did not know that my journey would complete and there was a finish time to it. And COVID was a huge blessing in disguise, because work was online. So I didn't have to be in Dubai to do my work as well. But then I met one person in that journey, and I discovered something, and serendipity, or whatever you call it, it just guided me towards my purpose. It guided me towards aligning everything that was for me. I discovered actually a game also.
Okay.
And when I met that game, and when I met the creator of the game, I realized this is it. It's time for me to go back. My travel is done. I was supposed to go to the Isle of Skye and travel more. I said, no, I'm done. And that is an opportunity that travel opens up sometimes when you go without an agenda, when you go on a soul searching trip. If there's anyone in the audience who is really, feeling stuck in some place, one option is to go out there without a return ticket, travel to some place, and then just go meet new people, create new experiences, read new books that you have not read. That is one option. The other option is obviously to come and play the clarity game.
Always an option. I'm not stuck yet, but after hearing you, I really wanted to go for the solo trip, by the way.
You don't have to be stuck to go on a solo trip.
No, I'm just saying that, yeah.
You'll peel more layers of your own onion.
Yeah, true.
When you go there, you know.
Yeah.
When you go to some place,
if you want to explore yourself also.
And don't do it where after 6 days is over and you're like, why is my onion not getting peeled? Why am I not getting something?
Yeah,
Samir told me I'll get
the
something.
insights? Yeah, why only Samir is getting all those insights? No, I totally understand what you're trying to say. Yes. No,
you have to surrender. There is a process of surrendering that you do to the universe, and when you surrender completely, and I think solo trips are a form of surrendering. When I went to China, I didn't know the language. I didn't know anyone over there. I didn't know anything. I think that is another thing that I right now practice consciously. You remember before this interview I told you, don't send me the questions?
Yeah, I do remember.
The purpose is to surrender to the moment, to surrender to what is happening and just be present. And to use every opportunity to consciously exercise that. Table topics is just that.
Exactly.
Surrendering. And when you are able to surrender to what is happening around you, then your level of emotion or emotional intelligence just rises through the roof, because you are not setting yourself on based on any expectations. You're surrendering to what's going to happen to you in that moment and saying, I'll embrace whatever comes.
Do you think that that is something which comes with the process, or is it something just evolved? I mean, I'm very curious to know about.
Surrendering is the process, no?
Yeah, that's what I wanted, because I don't feel ready to be surrendered. I mean, I like to practice things. I like to go in details and all, and I wanted to be where you are today. So I wanted to know that how does it, it's a process or it just happens?
It's a muscle. You got to exercise it. It's a muscle that you have to exercise. Start where you are, start what you can with, and then slowly build on that. The month you're more comfortable with something, then you start asking yourself, how do I challenge myself even more?
Great, Samir. So because you have traveled a lot and you actually changed your job a lot, and it was a drastic shift for you, what I've seen.
Yeah.
So what was your family's experience and how they have supported you in this journey?
So since 2014, the family, they have been based in India, but before that they were with me back in China.
Okay.
And the family is also always excited because they are seeing me living my true purpose. And I remember when I discovered the world of coaching in 2016, and my family and everyone, when I announced to them, because when I went for NLP program, I did not go to do NLP just like you did, thinking I'm going to be a coach, let me do NLP.
Exactly, yeah.
I just did because I was in between jobs and I didn't know what to do. I was planning to move to Turkey, and they asked me, why are you going to Turkey? And I said, I don't know. I love the place. I love the city, and I'm just going to go live there and figure out what I want to do. And then there was a crash, and there was they were trying to overthrow the president of the country, and there was so I was like in places what to do, and that's when I went and did the NLP. So once I declared to the family that I'm doing coaching, until that point of time in life, everyone, my friends and family, they were like, again he's changing his job, again he's moving place, again he's doing something different, what next? But this time when I said coaching, they were like, why didn't you choose this before?
Oh.
This is who you are, you will definitely succeed in this. And my question to them is, why didn't you tell me?
Exactly.
Right?
But coaching is all about that, right? They will not tell you. You have to figure it out.
So what I
your own.
realize and recognize is, and that's one of the tenets of the game as well. I tell people, don't try to give people clarity. You cannot give anyone clarity. They have to discover it on their own. So clarity is not something that you can give any human being. Not even to your children, not to your family, not to your colleagues, not to your subordinates. You cannot give clarity to any person. They must discover it themselves. You become an instrument in asking them better questions so that they discover it on their own. You become an instrument in the journey so that you can actually probably point them in directions. But clarity has to emerge from within you. So I think what I've done with the game is I've put all my life into that box, into a game format as well. So
all your experiences, all
everything,
your skills.
yeah. So for example, I used to host the Awesome Walkers, right?
Exactly.
And every time I finished a session, people would come up to me and say, Samir, you ask great questions. And I was like, I'm just asking a question. How can it be a great question? It's just a question, right? Like, how did you do this? Thinking about this or that, something, whatever question that is. But for the audience, they were saying like, it's a great question. I said, there's so many interviews, there's so many people who do interviews. And what I recognize is you don't decide whether your question is a great one or a good one. It's the audience that decides it, because they are taking away something by the way you ask the question. So when I recognize this, I put that into the game. It becomes a part of the structure where you start recognizing what is the quality of the question that you're asking.
So many times actually you don't know about your blind spots, and those feedbacks really helps you to actually get the clarity.
Absolutely.
And that's what I heard you saying, that might be a very helpful path in terms of creating your clarity game also, as you're mentioning that you ask those questions in your clarity game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Samir, also you have taken a lot of leadership roles in Toastmasters also. So how that has helped you in shaping your career? And if that has helped you in shaping your career in any way, please share that with us.
So every leadership role, what it does, I think a leadership role, what it does to us is it compresses our learning cycle. What you would probably learn in 20 years, you might learn probably in a year of strong leadership role. Because you would have to put yourself in positions, you would have to deal with multiple personalities, you would have to deal with multiple complex problems. The more leadership complex your role is, the more you will grow as a person, because you'll have to dig much more layers of yourself. You, like the peeling the onion, you're cutting much more faster, and you're revealing facets of yourself and discovering, because people complain about leadership and say, there's so much politics, there's so much of this, there's so much of that. That is the point of leadership. Dealing with that, learning with that, growing with that, and then seeing how do you effectively get people to deliver on the vision that you have set for the entire group.
And that Toastmasters experience of leadership
That
helped
is,
you.
so there's probably no other place, any volunteer organization, if you are in a leadership role, what happens is you start recognizing you have to get people to do things for you, not because they're going to make money. In an organization context, there is a reward that is there. If I don't do this, I will not get my promotion, I will not get my incentive, etc. Here, first of all, you're taking the role as a volunteer. You're giving your time and you're doing things. What is happening as a result is you're growing tremendously as a result of it. You're identifying who you are and who you can possibly become in that process. So leadership in Toastmasters, I think, exponentially makes somebody grow at a much faster pace. You can join Toastmasters, you can just sit as a club member, you can start learning how to speak. But once you are there and you have spoken and you can speak well, are you challenging yourself?
To another level?
So what is next level for you? And then what is next level after this? So you could start off with a sergeant at arms, where you get the opportunity to open the meeting every meeting. And then after that you get to take on other leadership responsibilities. You can do any leadership role in two ways. I mean, there are multiple ways, but I would say one is an average way and one is a great way, right? So you can just be a role and then say, oh, I was a sergeant at arms. But did you really add value to that role? Were you being creative? Were you actually extracting the most out of yourself to deliver on that role? And that, when you take to every position in your Toastmaster journey, then you start recognizing that is going to impact everything that you do outside Toastmasters as well.
Right.
It will have a effect on you, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So therefore, your personality will emerge at your office, at home, with your friends. Who you become changes when you start taking roles in Toastmasters, I believe. And it has reflected for me. So every time I did that, it changed me profoundly. And also the advantage of being surrounded by amazing people. When you're in a leadership role, you get to meet even more amazing people, right?
Yeah, right.
Imagine your own journey.
Yeah, just started actually.
Just started, and see how much opportunities are opening up for you just because of you stepping up to taking on those responsibilities.
Very true. So we have been talking about your leadership journey in the Toastmaster. What I wanted to know that how was your communication journey in the Toastmaster, and how does that shaped up for you?
Great question. My communication journey in Toastmaster, in fact, I was not even aware of this leadership track and communication track.
Yeah, me
initially
too,
when I
actually.
joined, right? I remember in the first year of me joining, in 2 months' time, the club said there's a club contest and you have to take part. And I said, no, this is not for me. I've just joined. I just want to have fun. I just want to meet people. I just want to enjoy my time over.
With me.
And they were like, no, just give it a shot. You're not going to lose anything. You don't have to prepare anything. It's table topics. You can just go there and give a speech and that's it. So I did, and I won.
Oh, wow.
So when I won the contest, what happened was I was representing the club now within 2 months of joining the club. Now that felt like a huge pressure on myself, and I said, oh, but I should do something about this. So I started going to other clubs and doing table topics and preparing so that I could win at the area level. So I started being committed for the sake of the club, not for the sake of myself, right? And that helped me look at the whole journey very differently, I feel. And I think it was such a blessing in disguise, because I started recognizing table topics or impromptu speaking or speaking off the cuff unprepared is my strength.
Wow.
And it helped me tremendously in my journey as a coach, because as a coach, what you want to be is present in the moment. And I was exercising that muscle constantly without recognizing it. So it helped me become a better communicator, even in my profession. So 2 years down the line, in 2016, when I said to myself and to God that everything was preparing me for this role, even that, me winning that speech contest and then moving on to, was a tremendous boost to my confidence that I did not even recognize at that point of time. And I've never really aspired to becoming a world champion of public speaking at any point of time, which is the ultimate track in the communication track in Toastmasters. And the ultimate track in the leadership track is being the international president of Toastmasters.
Okay.
So these are the two ultimates that you can actually aspire towards. And I was not aspiring to be the international president of Toastmasters also, because I just wanted to be around growth mindset people. That was my whole perspective after I made a lot of friends and I'm happy with the whole environment. It was just about being surrounded by amazing people. And in 2021, I think during the COVID period, I actually said to myself, I want to attempt becoming the world champion of public speaking for a year.
Oh, wow.
So at the beginning of the year, I told myself, I'm going to commit to a 1-year journey and I want to aim for this.
So you were challenging yourself.
I was challenging myself, and I said, and the reason I wanted to do this was because I was asking myself, if I had one opportunity and if I had to convey one message to the world, what would that message be?
Right.
And I made that the baseline of my whole approach to winning the world champion of public speaking. Now, I did not win the world champion, I reached the district level.
That's a huge thing, by the way.
Which one?
To go to till the district level also.
So you win at the club level, then you win at the area level, then you win at the division level, and then you reach the district level.
Yeah.
And at the district level, what happened was my device failed.
Oh.
And the people could not view my frame, my video was stuck.
Oh, okay.
And my speech was not delivered, and they did not see my speech also. So it was just like after 20 minutes.
Unfortunate.
But I felt it's fine. I achieved what I wanted to. My goal was to create a speech, and that whole process of writing and refining that speech refined me and my thinking actually on so many levels. Jensen, big shout out to Jensen George, who was my mentor for that speech.
Oh, wow.
Along with Priyanka from our club. So these two, they drew out the best, every single line. So the first thing that I told Jensen when I asked him to be my mentor at the beginning of the year is, Jensen, I don't like writing speeches.
Wow.
He's like, I'm going to help you, right? So he said, no problem, we'll figure a way out. And that is what I like about Jensen, and what I really wish a lot of people in Toastmasters did as well. When you are a mentor to someone, you try to make them like you, miniature version of you, and say, you know,
yeah.
and that doesn't work. It's about playing to the strength of that member.
Exactly.
And seeing how is it that they want to operate, and then seeing or creating the environment that is conducive for that person to grow in that journey. So what Jensen did, you don't like to write a speech? All right, you're a mystery speaker in club contests. So he made me mystery speakers in 2-3 club contests, and by the time I delivered 2-3, he said, now write what you just spoke.
Oh, wow.
Now you have a script. Now let's work on that.
No, absolutely. Jensen is amazing. Even I got a chance to mentor. He mentored me in one of the speech, and he was like, he really gave you a really good clarity on yourself in just like 2-3 minutes, and that was amazing. Two amazing people actually mentored you for the speech, so I'm sure it must be great. But you also mentioned that it started with delivering a message. If you remember, what was the message I wanted our audience to know about it.
The message is very simple, which is also the basis of the clarity game actually.
Okay.
It is, in the journey of other people's lives, don't tell them what to do, simply ask.
Actually, very true, and that's what our actually coaching is based on, that particular basic only, that you're not supposed to say and to tell or advise anyone. They have to figure it out, and then only it is very insightful and also very powerful. Do you have any suggestions? I know that as a coach you don't do it, but anything which you have gone through in your life, I don't want you to actually say it that way, but that is really helpful or insightful, which you wanted to give away to our audience as a takeaway.
Simple one, join Toastmasters.
Okay.
And I don't say it just because we are doing a Toastmaster podcast. I'm saying it because there's nothing like it in the world. There's nothing that can help you grow as a person, as a father, as a mother, as a colleague, as a leader in an organization. If you want to create an impact in the world, if you want to be someone who is instrumental in leaving a footprint, Toastmaster will become your playground to practice and exercise those muscles so that you can go out into the real world and do it and really make a difference.
Wow, thank you so much, Samir, for sharing that. And with that, we have come to an end for our segment 1. We have a very exciting segment coming up, and that is our rapid fire round. And I'm very excited about it. So I wanted you to be that excited for the answers also. I wanted you to answer it as rapid as possible and as fiery as possible.
Go ahead.
Question, Samir. What is your secret talent that nobody knows about?
I can spin a book on my finger.
Oh wow, we wanted to see it sometime. Second question, what is the weirdest dream you ever had?
I wouldn't say it's weird, but me flying is a dream that I just love having over and over again. I think the last time I really enjoyed flying in a dream was when I was in boarding school back in 7th standard.
Oh wow. The third one, if you get a chance to host a celebrity from the past or the present for your talk show, who would that be?
Sheikh Mohammed.
Oh wow, that's really amazing. Best memory of TGIS?
The video not working at the contest.
The best memory?
It is the best memory.
Wow. A person from Toastmaster who has inspired you and with whom you have actually interacted?
Jensen.
Oh, Jensen. The next one, coach, Toastmasters, author, talk show host. What's your personal favorite?
Conversationalist.
Oh, did I miss that? Okay, sorry about that.
It embodies all of them together.
Yeah, exactly. The next one, what's the weirdest combination of food you ever tried and surprisingly you really liked it?
Banana fry with beef.
Yeah, that is weird. The next one, if you would blessed to have a superpower, what would you would like to have?
The opportunity to be heard
Wow.
by everyone.
Excellent. I like that, Samir. Your favorite ages in terms of 20s, 30s, 40s?
Always the moment I'm in.
Oh, lovely. And Samir, the last one, what is your mantra of life?
Ask, don't tell.
Thank you so much, Samir. That was our rapid fire round. And with that, we have come to an end for our today's interview. I had amazing time. I hope that you also enjoyed it.
I did.
Thank you so much for agreeing to it, and I'm sure that our audience will have a really, really great insight watching this. Thank you so much, Samir.
Thank you.